Woods Farm here, back out in the garage working on the Volkswagen, and a few little odd jobs to do tonight. I've got it flipped over now, so I'm going to weld these brackets on. These are going to get welded on here. There's one on each side, and they're for the brake lines. And if I get that done, I might go ahead and paint the frame head and paint the back end with Dom 16. I'm going to leave the center unpainted because I have to do some more welding here. I got to weld on a bracket for the parking brake handle, and I have to seam seal the pans. So I'm going to wait to paint that. But the frame head and the back can definitely get paint on it. Okay, both the brackets are welded on to the frame head. So that's done. Now I could clean it up and paint it. I'm going to have to kind of repaint underneath because when I welded it, it heated up, and the Dom 16 started to like catch on fire. So I knew that was going to happen. It's one of those things, you're going ahead with the project and you forget something, so you're just going to have to deal with it. So I'm just going to clean it up, clean up underneath it, and give it another coat underneath. Okay, this is where I'm at. I'm just starting to fabricate the, I guess you call it the rocker panel, but it's kind of the framework that supports the body. What I'm doing is, just like on the original Volkswagen thing, I'm going to have it so the body basically bolts onto the chassis. Now I'm probably making this way more complicated than I need to. The original Kubelwagen, as well as the thing, it had two panels and it was hollow, so I'm doing the same thing. And basically there is bolts and washers that come up from the bottom and bolt into the framework. So the floor pans have these kind of preset, these little dimples here that show you where you should be drilling the holes. So I'm going to pre-drill these holes, and then I'm going to clamp everything down in place, and then I'm going to drill up from the bottom, at least just to mark it, and then I'll unclamp it and I'll probably drill the holes in the drill press. And after I'm done that, I'm actually going to tack these pieces of framework together. I'm not going to weld them together, just tack them in for now so they kind of hold their shape, and then I'm going to go from there. Okay, so after I got all the holes drilled, I just went back and bolted it down, and then I've gone and tacked the bolts down in place. So that's the start of the body of the Kubelwagen. Okay, I'm just going to work on the passenger side lower framework. So what needs to happen here is, the first thing I'm going to do is, at all the pre-designated points, I'm going to drill holes, and then I'm going to clamp my piece where it needs to be, and then I'm going to drill up from the bottom to mark where the holes are so they line up with these pieces. And then once they're bolted in place, I'm going to tack them and weld them together. That's what I did on the driver's side. Worked pretty good. So after it was clamped down, I just drilled up from the bottom through the holes and left these marks so I know where to drill. A little bit of oil. These are the bolts I'm using. They're just 5/16 by 1 inch. I was gonna go with a size bigger because I thought these were kind of small, but that's the original washer that went underneath the floor pans, and it's only sized for a bolt like this, so that's what we're going with. So I'm just temporarily bolting these down so it holds. That one doesn't want to work. It's got a burr on it or something. So when all's said and done, that's what you end up with. 2 rails. So now I'm just gonna, I took them off the vehicle because when I do these welds here, I don't want anything, I don't want it fusing to the pans. So that's it. They're not perfectly symmetrical, but close enough for my purposes. You get the idea.